Sam, you've actually got a really cool topic for tonight. Do you want me to skip you and go around so you can kind of decompress?
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm
Okay.
pretty, I got most of that nervous energy out anyway. So, okay. I know that as diehard horror fans, we can get sucked into a couple of different fandoms and be like totally devoted to them. And y'all know Nightmare on Elm Street's mine. So, going back and watching Freddy's Dead kind of, brought this up for me. And there's some, really fun areas that you can just kind of bounce off of. And they kind of evolve into their own fan theories over time. Not Freddy's Dead related, but there was one for Wes Craven's New Nightmare where it's the beautiful dreamer theory, where Kristen dreams Nancy at the end of Nightmare 3 into part 7, which is like, wow, that's cool. I appreciate whoever took the time to think of that. One that I was kind of thinking about, which, is difficult given the fact that Freddy's Dead is supposed to take place like 10 years in the future, is, we don't really know where Alice is. And I'm still probably of the opinion that she's one of the people that's stuck in Weston Hills and Freddy versus Jason that wouldn't wake up. And that opens like a whole other can of worms. Like, who are all those other people? Where's the background on that? That was kind of like one of those really interesting things in Freddy versus Jason that everybody's kind of like, whatever, we're just going to ignore that. The reason I can't get like 100% behind that is because I can't really give a definitive answer about where Freddy versus Jason takes place. Like, is it after or before Freddy's Dead? It's kind of, the timeline's all over the place. It's not all over the place like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's not maybe as much as like say Halloween. Halloween is kind of its own thing, and I know that there's a lot of Curse of Thorn fan theories going on. I'm not a historian about that, but just kind of like wondering where Alice is in Freddy's Dead is one thing, and I've heard other weird ones like Kevin McAllister grew up to be Jigsaw. Leatherface is actually a woman. Stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to pick brains and see if you guys have any especially weird fan theories that you've heard or ones that you've thought of on your own.
I've created the fan theory that Reggie the Reckless is Creighton Duke in Jason Goes to Hell. I created that fan theory, and I asked the director, Adam Marcus. He said it's unequivocally not true, but he lied. It is absolutely true. So it is 100% true.
I'm going to watch it that way now.
You should. You should.
Yeah, I know. It kind of like makes it better now.
I have stopped paying attention to fan theories because fan theories get me excited. And then what actually turns out, like there were so many great fan theories for like the end of Game of Thrones, for instance. So many excellent fan theories that were infinitely better than what they came up with for that show. At that point, I said, I can't follow fan theories anymore because the fan theories are better than what we get from the creatives. And I would just so I literally stopped paying attention to fan theories because of that, because the fan theories are better. They put far more thought and care into them than anybody who's actually making the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's part of the beauty about being fans.
But it's crushing. It's crushing. I was so crushed at the end of Game of Thrones, though. That it hurt. It hurt. It still hurts.
So, are you a fantasy guy, Piz? That sounds really bad. Never mind. Don't answer that.
Of who? I'm sorry.
Are you into fantasy?
Fantasy? Not really.
Okay, I was going to ask if you had any thoughts on Wheel of Time, but then we're just getting way off topic there.
Yeah, no.
I'm a Deathstalker guy. I like the cheesy side of fantasy. So, a tour. Yeah.
I always had a fan theory about the Saw films, about how the final scene of the final Saw film should have been gone. And it should have been, since the series is told in like just a random chronology anyway, I always thought the final scene should have been when Jigsaw was in his hospital bed, recovering from the car crash. That he should have woken up and there'd be a tape player on his chest, and he pushes play, and someone is telling him they want to play a game. So his entire arc is just a game that he's been on, and there's some further big bad.
Oh.
And as far as it's not my own, it belongs to a lot of people, but I'm sorry, X-Files, Scully was Samantha. You were setting it up for seasons, then you just abandoned it with a crappy episode where you found the real Samantha dead. Fuck that.
Wow, that actually I've never heard that theory, but it's weird.
So they mentioned that both Samantha and Sam both broke the same bone at the same age in different episodes.
Yeah.
It was definitely going there, and then I guess they realized that the fans had figured it out, so they just didn't do it. Heartbreaking.
It's a little creepy when you consider David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson's insane chemistry on screen. It's like we know y'all boning.
Well, I mean, I don't want to get all, X-File-y on you, but after like the 5th season, they definitely changed direction because it was originally very clear that that the Cancer Man was Fox's father, but also that he was bringing the sister back to his son to try and get him back on the side against the alien invasion. It was all there. They just didn't commit to it, and that's kind of why I feel like the series ended up in those post 5 seasons to go further and further astray in the mythology episodes because they just weren't picking up on all those threads that they started. As a writer, it's like dead obvious what they're doing. I mean, dead obvious, and it's just saying it got to the point where all the fans were expecting it. So I guess Chris Carter decided to go a different way. But sometimes you just got to go with what you meant to do, no matter if it's not going to be a surprise anymore.
True that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was something maybe half a year ago on Facebook that got really popular. I was reading about people were sharing this article or something, and it was about Halloween, and it was all about how Lori wasn't the initial target of Michael, and it was really Annie after she yelled at him when he was driving the car. And there was speculation that people would say, but there was a shot of Michael looking at Lori from the school outside the window, blah blah blah. But people said that he was really just aimless at the time, and that when Annie yelled at him, that pissed him off, and so he went after her first in the film, and then subsequently it gained a lot of traction on Facebook. And I remember, I think Lee, Drum Dumps, and a couple of guys were making videos about it, and it was interesting.
It makes sense because he put the headstone in. It was her body. He put the sister headstone on the bed behind her. So I mean, that kind of makes sense. It's got some weight to it, I guess.
I feel like Carpenter probably did have that stuff genuinely in mind a little bit more back in the day when he was making this, but he's so removed himself. Well, now he's not removed himself. He's making money from it again now. But like, I've never heard him talk about that, or maybe Deborah Hill talk about that. Like, I wish she was still with us because I feel she would be a hell of a lot more insightful nowadays than John is. But that was interesting when I read about it because I dismissed it at first, but as I read more into it and looked at it and watched the movie from that perspective, I was like, I really don't argue that. So that was pretty cool to read about.
Can we discuss all the fan theories or fan angles on who taught Michael Myers to drive?
I know that's also very good. Plus,
it comes in waves, you guys. It comes in waves. It's like every, I don't know how many months or a year, and people are like, wait, stop the presses. Who taught Michael Myers to drive? And then everyone has their own theories and ideas on how and why he could drive.
In Halloween 6, you learned that it was a cult the whole time. So that son of a gun was teaching a little kid, get behind the wheel, kid. Because when you run my cult, I need you to get behind that damn station wagon and peel off because you're going to have to chase that broad out of the hospital late at night on a stormy road. You got to know how to drive, kid. Let's go.
But if it's a choose your own adventure, then maybe that didn't, it depends. Halloween is a choose your own adventure. So
it's not that difficult to drive. Number one, I mean, there's a lot of really dumb people out there who can drive. So I mean, it's not like, it requires a lot of skill, but I mean,
however, in the days before GPS, an hour drive back to town might be an issue.
you know, following up on that, this is kind of a weird question, but whenever people say something like, you know, Halloween, oh, it's a perfect movie, but when you talk about little things like that, I mean, does it ever, the people, whenever you say that stuff, do you ever stop and really think to yourself, because I don't think it's a perfect movie. I mean, I love it, but I don't hold no bones about it. But like, what do people mean when they say it's a perfect movie? Is it just the way it makes them feel, or do you really think like they overlook that kind of stuff as well? I always, you
Yeah,
know,
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, let's face it, you can put that on anything, something that you love that's a tangible item, your dog, your mate, whoever you're with or whatever, right? Everybody's flawed, everything is flawed, nothing is absolutely perfect. But if you really love and care about that person, that animal, that thing, or whatever, you're going to overlook that, or you're going to be like, oh, but that's what makes it cool because they screwed up this or that, or what, there's one leaf in this scene, you know, and it's supposed to be fall. People are going to, you know, because they have an affinity for it, they're just going to wrap their arms around everything, even if it is completely flawed, and say it's perfect because it's perfect to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. I said what I said.
The driving thing's never been a bone of contention for me with that movie. Just like, he drove, he got behind the wheel, he figured it out, or somebody really taught him. They gave him like a paper plate for the wheel, and like they put like okay, so you turn the wheel this way, Michael. This lever this lever makes it go. This lever makes it stop, and make sure it's in D.
I would have liked to seen him like going like this down the road, like figuring out.
Was it a stick shift? You know, that's
it was automatic.
It's automatic because you see the it's on the top of the wheel. But
yeah.
But you know, that's not how you watch these movies.
No.
They're meant to be in the same tradition as the urban legends and the campfire stories, and that's what the good directors have always embraced. Is what's important isn't the hows and the whys. It's the moment, it's how it makes you feel, it's about that rising tension from a particularly well shot suspense sequence, which there's a ton of in Halloween, which honestly, I mean, I don't want to talk Halloween, but I miss no if you watch if you watch the original Halloween, it is basically a suspense film.
Yeah,
it has a low body count. It's not about the kills, it's not about creative kills, it's not about gory kills. It's really the suspense piece which slowly ratchets up. Even the score starts out thunderously slow and by the end is screaming along. It's a really well-made film in every regard except for logic. And that's not even the only logic problem. I don't want to go through the list. Halloween is not written for logic. It's written so we get the maniac from the insane asylum to the teenage girls babysitting. That's what's important, and that's how we digested it when we first saw it. We weren't worried about the nonsense because the film's not worried about the nonsense. But the problem is, the film was not made to be watched 35 times in your life or 80 times in your life. We've all been dumb enough to do that.
About these movies, so it's like they give us these wonderful feelings, and we can't help but watch them over and over and over, and so then eventually will lead us.
Sabotages them.
Eventually, it will lead us to hyper focus on these things and construct our own fan theories. So it's kind of cool.
I've got another fan theory.
Back around.
You can take leaps of faith when it comes to little things like that, as long as they don't, you know, like, they're stupid. They're not going to pay attention to this. You know what I mean? So as long as they don't, as long as the filmmakers aren't trying to treat you like an idiot, sure. He learned how to drive. That's cool. Just I'll believe that the same that I'll believe that he took 6 slugs to the chest, fell out of a second floor window, got up and walked away.
Yeah.
All is forgiven if we get to see him try and program the GPS in Halloween films.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that. That would be great.
Could you imagine? He's like typing in. He just LAUR. It's like
Loomis is the voice.
Ooh.
Boom. There you go, guys.
All right, Piz, here's a fan theory.
Sure.
Loomis did shoot him 6 times, but you know, we're supposed to hear the extra shot. before Mr. Elrod fell asleep, he heard a bunch of ruckus, so he opened up his window and took a warning shot to get whoever it was to shut up. So that's where the seventh shot is
There we
coming
go.
from.
I believe it.
I'm trying to sleep, damn it! What?
I believe it.
I don't even want this sandwich anymore.
Yeah. Honey, make me a damn ham sandwich and fire the gun out of the window. A warning shot. Damn kids need to shut up. Simon, thank you for the additional £4.49 super chat. My fan theory is in Predator, Mac and Blaine were lovers. When Mac says to Dutch, he was my friend, Dutch turns to him and Mac just looks down. They kind of took that theory and ran with it in the last Predator movie because
Oh yeah, Thomas Jane and the other guy.
Thomas Jane and geez, Key
Peel, yeah.
Peel, P.
Yeah.
Or
No,
not
Key,
Peel.
not Peel.
Jordan
Keegan.
P.
No.
Keegan. Yeah.
P. Peel? P?
They were more than just friends in that movie. So
Oh, yeah.
the guy who directed that movie wrote he really wrote Predator. But anyway, he knew what was going on. He knew what was up. That's a valid fan theory. You know, you got two guys who've been through a lot together. They've saved each other's lives. You know, they've been through a lot together. You know,
Things happen in the jungle.
things happen in the jungle. Will you
Sometimes they bring you to your knees.
It's like, Mac, will you rub some of this mosquito repellent on my back? Sure. And then just you know what I mean? That's how it starts.
Thomas Jane stole the show in that last Predator movie.
He was good. He was very good.
He's good in most things that I've seen him in. I don't.
No.
If that last film had been made at a different time, I don't think we'd have as bad of an opinion of it as we do. It
They
just
needed-
feels very much like the time it was made, and that's kind of obnoxious.
They needed to take the autistic kid out of it because that was ridiculous. Not every autistic kid is Rain Man.
Not
every
autistic.
autistic kid apologizes to his father for being autistic. That doesn't happen. They needed that angle should have been removed. It should have been all about the people on the bus. Even take the one guy out of it because he was just bland and horrible. Just the guys on the bus versus the Predator. That would have been a good movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That would have been a good movie.
Most stuff. I need to go back and watch that.
Totally random thought.
There's a good film somewhere in it if they would have recut the film. It's just
I've never hated it. Totally random thought that Christian inspired during all of this. How have we not had National Lampoon's Halloween Vacation?
Yeah.
At this point.
I just realized that, like, you bring that up and like, wait, Halloween Vacation is a thing you can have? I'm an adult and I didn't even think about this.
Sure, go to a bunch of different haunts. I've done that
Yeah.
before. You can
Cousin
have a
Eddie-
It could be National Lampoon's Haunted Halloween.
Cousin
Somebody
Eddie
do
would
it.
totally get the best of Michael Myers. Cousin Eddie
Oh,
would
that
just
would be
destroy
so
Michael Myers.
Didn't they do like a haunted
That would be
Halloween
so
movie
funny.
or something like that not long ago? Like the
Hugh-
Wayans did like a haunted Halloween kind of
Haunted
thing.
House. Yeah, I know. I think it was Haunted House. They had two of them.
Yeah.
I'd rather. Yeah. I don't know. Eddie kills him, dumps him, shitter's full, walks out. Right. Just
Hell yeah.
into the sunset. Boom. Michael Myers. There you go. The future of the franchise, guys.
But see, the shitter is full of body parts. That's where he keeps the body.
Is that how the opening to the sitcom ends for Region Free? Shitter's full?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Randy Quaid is crazier than Michael Myers. I think
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
he would take him out.
Oh my
wouldn't-
goodness.
Wouldn't even be about it. Subscribe to the Region Free YouTube channel and also check out the Patreon to get exclusive content and become a Regionaire.